Today, we will learn about the boxed warnings in the United States, also known as FDA Black Box Warnings. Prior to a drug being launched, the FDA reviews and carefully scrutinizes adverse events that occur during the research phase. Many a times, serious or life-threatening adverse events or reactions are discovered only after a drug has been on the market for many years. Once an adverse event or product problem is identified, the FDA can recommend any of the following actions. 1. Labeling changes, whether the manufacturer is required to add new information to the product's package insert. Second may be the boxed warnings that are reserved for the most serious adverse events. Other actions may include product recalls from the market. Product withdrawals, when FDA believes that a drug's benefits no longer outweigh its risks, the manufacturer may be asked to withdraw the product. And lastly, medical and safety alerts to provide important safety information about a product to health professionals, trade, and media organizations. Black box warnings are the most serious warnings imposed by the FDA for prescription medications. Additionally, it highlights potentially fatal, life-threatening, or disabling adverse effects for prescription drugs. In addition, black box warnings include information regarding restriction of use and/or distribution of medications. Moreover, FDA mandates that black box warnings are separated and highlighted from the other text in the package insert and characterized with a black box border. The criteria that influence the FDA's decision on black box warning for drug products include identifying a drug-associated adverse event that can be prevented through monitoring and intervention, identifying specific patients for whom the treatment is particularly dangerous, advise that the risks of treatment may outweigh the benefits, identify a potentially harmful drug interaction or describe critical dosing information, state that the drug is administered only by a specially trained healthcare practitioner or in a special setting, and caution that the method of drug administration requires exceptional care. When is the black box warning required? The FDA requires a black box warning for one of the following situations. Firstly, the medication can cause serious undesirable effects such as a fatal, life-threatening or permanently disabling adverse reaction. Secondly, it is compared with the potential benefit from the drug. Depending on your health condition, you and your physician would need to decide whether the potential benefit of taking the drug is worth the risk. Then, a serious adverse reaction can be prevented, reduced in frequency, or reduced in severity by proper use of the drug. Finally, a medication may be safe to use in adults but not in children. Or, the drug may be safe to use in adult women who are not pregnant. The primary objective of a black box warning is that it provides a signal to physicians and patients to consider the adverse event. A boxed warning provides a brief, concise summary of the information that is critical for a prescriber to consider. This includes any restriction on distribution or use. This is typically a more detailed discussion of the risk elsewhere in the labeling, for example, in contraindications or warnings and precautions sections that must be identified by an associated cross-reference. We will now see some examples of black box warnings and how do they look like. The first example pertains to the suicidality risks with antidepressants and antipsychotic medications. The second example pertains to ciprofloxacin, which is an old and popular medicine that has been around for over 3 decades. The warnings include tendinitis, tendon rupture, and neurological effects. Do you think that the boxed warning is permanent? Any guesses? The answer is no. Here is one example where the FDA recommended to remove the boxed warning based on the review of new clinical trial data. We now come to the end of this presentation. We trust that you have found this training to be useful. Feel free to contact us in case there are any questions, comments, or even suggestions. Also, we request you to subscribe to our channels.